Hello everyone and welcome to a really awesome game from round 9 of the Lindores Abbey Rapid Challenge, a tactical brilliancy if you will. But before we check out the game, I would just like to make a short announcement. It's Friday again and we're gonna have a nice arena and I'm gonna be streaming it, so the links to both tournaments are in the description below as usual. So do join and I will be seeing you later. Now, getting back to the game, Nakamura with the white pieces faces Polish number 1 young Krzysztof Duda, and Nakamura opens with e4. We have c5 by Duda, the Sicilian defense. We have knight to f3, d6, and now bishop to b5 check, going for the canal attack, and knight to d7 defending. And it's really important for Duda to do well, as he is on the verge of dropping out of the competition before the knockout phase even begins. And here, the most often played moves are castles and d4, but lately this unprovoked bishop to a4 seems to be the way for white to seek advantage. And okay, bishop to a4, you will prepare c4, you will be able to tuck back the bishop to c2, also control the d5 square. So knight to f6, and now just castles, offering the e4 pawn. However, if you go after the pawn with knight captures on e4, it is possible, but then white just gets a lot of development in rook e1, knight goes back, you can go d4 and so on, and black still has to do a whole lot to just finish development, so it's not a good idea to go after it. We have a6 preparing b5, and now c4 stopping b5 and also grabbing more control of the d5 square. We have g6 preparing to fianchetto the dark square bishop, and now knight to c3. We have bishop to g7 and h3 now, so just nicely developing with castles and d3. A nice closed position. We have rook to b8, now preparing b5 once again, and rook to b1, not worried about that. And there is one game where a couple of games actually, where knight to e8 was played here, but here we have queen to a5, and it is already as of move 10 that we have a completely new game. So here Nakamura continues development, bishop to d2. Now, okay, it's not a very pleasant for black to constantly be facing some discoveries, although there aren't any discoveries for the moment, like if knight d5 you can just go back with the queen. But Duda goes back, queen to c7, and you might think, but why not queen to c7 right away? Well, by going queen to a5 back to c7, now white has bishop on d2, which is not the most ideal square. If black didn't go for this maneuver, then white could have developed the bishop anywhere else. So a3, Nakamura prepares b4, and e6 now. We have b4, b6, again just defending on c5, and now b captures on c5. We have b captures on c5 and queen c2, so if rook captures on b1, you can recapture with the rook. We have knight to b6, going after the bishop, and bishop back to b3. Knight f to d7. And now comes knight to a4, offering a trade of knights, and the Duda declines. We have knight back to a8. Saying that, okay, I'm very satisfied with the position. I don't want to trade anything off too early, and I still have to, you know, keep a steady position, as I really have to do well in this game. So bishop to c3, Nakamura offers a trade of dark square bishops, which Duda goes for. We have captures, but with the knight, not with the queen. So knight captures on c3, and now Duda goes back, knight a to b6. We have queen to d2. Now the dark squares have been weakened, and Nakamura wants to go queen to h6, followed by knight g5 to threaten some checkmate on h7, and so on. So bishop to b7, developing the bishop, connecting rooks. It's a very nice diagonal for the light square bishop, and the queen to h6 now. Not anything to be worried about. Duda just goes rook f to d8 and makes room for the knight on f8, so you can defend the h7 pawn. But Nakamura still goes for knight g5 and knight to f8 now, defending queen captures on h7. So f4, now with ideas of busting open the position with f5. However, f6 by Duda, kicking back the knight, and now also the queen has control of the 7th rank. So knight to f3, and now bishop to c6, opening up the b file for the rook. Duda wants to play rook b7, rook b8, double up on the b file, and do some trades there. And he does have excellent control of the center here, as you can see, really a lot of control. So queen to h4, Nakamura puts pressure on the f6 pawn, and now comes queen to g7, defending, and now rook f to e1. We have rook to d7, now doubling up this way, and queen to f2. Here Nakamura prepares d4 to start his expansion in the center. We have rook d to b7. Now you have to be careful. For example, you can't really move the knight or anything. There could be some tactics when the knight moves of winning the bishop, or even if the bishop and knight move, just rook captures on d1. So you have to be careful. Nakamura goes bishop to a2, just opens up the b file for his rook, and now f5 by Duda. We have d4 as planned, and now f captures on e4. We have knight captures on e4, and now knight to a4, putting pressure on the rook on b1. So Nakamura trades once, rook captures, and now the question is, can you grab the d6 pawn? Well, the answer is no, because if you capture on d6, then just rook b2, and white is lost. You lose the bishop here. There is not much to be done here. If you block with the rook, for example, rook e2, then just rook captures. The queen will recapture. You will capture with the bishop. Bishop captures on f3, and now it doesn't matter if the queen or the pawn captures it. For example, if queen captures on f3, then just queen captures on d4 with check will pick up the knight on d6. So it is not okay to capture on d6. So instead, Nakamura finds a brilliant tactical idea, d5, and it just asks black, what do you want to do? So here, rook to b2, it is the strongest move, again attacking the queen, putting pressure on the bishop, but now queen to h4, saying that, okay, if you capture my bishop, I'm just going to capture d captures on c6 and have a very nice passed pawn. So first, Duda trades once, e captures on d5, but now knight f6 check. We have king to h8, and now comes c captures on d5. Again, with the same idea. If you capture, I'm just going to create a nice passed pawn on c6. So here, bishop to b5, and we reach the position from the thumbnail, where Nakamura's bishop is trapped on a2, and unless you want to play something like bishop to b1, you don't really have a good move here. Or do you? Feel free to pause the video here and try to find the brilliant tactical idea Nakamura found while I give you a couple of seconds. So for those of you who were able to do it, congratulations on spotting that the bishop is guarding the e8 square and you really want to play rook to e8. So for those of you who just want to enjoy the show, it's bishop to c4. You give up the bishop this way, and it's not easy to decline this sacrifice. For example, if you just continue, let's say queen f7, then white's idea is just to eliminate the bishop, and after a captures, now you go knight to e8, and there is no defense against rook to e7. Whatever you play, let's say c4, you're just going to go rook to e7, queen has to move, queen f5, and now queen h6, there's no stopping queen g7 mate. Or rather there is, but you would have to suffer severe material loss. So after bishop to c4, Duda decides, okay, I'm just going to capture and see what happens. There's not much to be said here or done. So rook to e8. This was the idea, as the bishop is no longer on b5 guarding the e8 square. Now the threat is just rook captures on f8, queen will recapture, and then queen to h7 will be checkmate. So h5 not allowing this, and now knight to d7. Now just putting pressure on the knight here. The knight cannot capture as it's pinned, and if queen captures on d7, Nakamura had queen to f6 check in mind. King h7, and now rook captures on f8, and there's no defense against just rook h8 mate, or rather you can prolong it a little bit, let's say queen g7, but now just check, king h6 check, and here we have a nice checkmate once again. So after knight d7, Duda played bishop captures on d5, but it doesn't really make a difference. Rook captures on f8, bishop to g8 blocking check, and now just queen to d8, and it was in this position that young Krzysztof Duda resigned the game, as there is nothing more to be done here. Black has no counterplay. You can just play knight f6, capture on g8, and that's it. There's no defending this. So as black is getting checkmated, of course, Duda resigned, and so I don't forget, here are the standings after 3 days of the Lindores Abbey Rapid Challenge. There you have it, the guys in golden. It's a cross table from Chess24 website. So the guys in golden are the ones who proceed to the knockout phase of the tournament, and Grishuk, Firuja, Young Krzysztof Duda, and Wei Yi are out of the tournament. Dubov, Aronyan, and Grishuk have all three have 5.5 points, but it wasn't enough. And Nakamura in sole lead with 7.5 points. I believe without a single loss, but I'm not completely sure. And here are the pairings for the knockout phase of the tournament, also from the Chess24 website. There you have it. Nakamura will face Levon, Magnus will face Wesley So, Yu Youngi will face Ding, and Danil Duba will face off against Sergei Karyakin. So it's one event where we will definitely not be seeing Nakamura and Carlsen in the finals, as both of them, if they win in round 1, can only meet in semifinals, and we will definitely have someone else in the finals. So it's most of the times you will have two of them in the finals, but not in this particular tournament. So yeah, that's the game. I do hope you enjoyed it and all the tactical frenzy. I would like to thank Jacob Kentrup, Epstein's mother, Alexandra Coleman, Robert Kiefer, and Jos Grooters for your contribution to my channel. Thank you a lot. I really appreciate it. As usual, you can check two of my previous videos here. Thank you all for watching, and I will see you soon, continuing the coverage of the Lindores Abbey, checking up on your wonderful suggestions, and whatever else happens in the chess world. So thank you all. I will see you soon, and have an excellent rest of your day, and do join the tournaments. The links are in the description below. See you soon.